Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take source material, break it down, and find the real gems of knowledge and insight for you. Today we're diving into something really quite profound. It's excerpts from A Writer's Last Breath, The Death of Hojo Tamio.
Yeah, this is fascinating stuff. It's not just, a biography. It's incredibly personal. It's a record of the final days of this Japanese writer, Hojo Tamio, but told by someone who was right there really close to him.
It was raw, unfiltered.
Exactly. It gives us this intimate look at, well, facing death, but also at how creativity just keeps burning, even then.
Right. So our goal today is to unpack this. We want to understand the facts, sure, about his illness, but also dig into the emotional side, the mental struggle. He was so determined to live, to write, even as his body was just failing him.
And we'll find these moments of incredible strength, but also vulnerability. It's a really powerful look at the artistic spirit.
Okay, let's get into it then. Let's unpack this. So Hojo Tamio, a writer, he gets very sick, a stomach issue, late September 1937.
Yeah, and it wasn't the first time that year, was it? This was his second admission to the critical ward.
Exactly. But the person writing this account, who was right there caring for him, they were initially, well, kind of unaware of how bad it really was.
It's quite striking, isn't it? They actually thought he'd see the new year, maybe even last until spring 38.
Why? What gave them that impression?
It seems Hojo himself still had this apparent energy about him, a kind of vigor. It wasn't until maybe about 20 days before he actually died that the doctor basically shattered that illusion.
Ah, the moment of truth. What did the doctor say? How did it land?
It was pretty stark. The physician just said, Mr. Hojo may never be able to stand again.
Wow.
Yeah, no ambiguity.
Yeah.
That was the sentence that finally made the author realize, okay, this is serious. This is really the end approaching.
It really shows you how denial works, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you care about someone.
Absolutely. We cling to hope, even against the evidence sometimes. But while the author was sort of in this hopeful denial, Hojo himself, it seems, was starting to face it.
What does his own writings show? His diary.
The cause of this illness, when I get right down to it, is my own fault. Resign yourself, heart.
That's heavy. Taking responsibility.
It is, but then he adds, but being this thin, it's eerie. I suddenly feel like I could just die right here in this room.
So that self-reflection turned pretty quickly into something else.
Oh, yeah. It shifted into just raw anguish. He wrote, I want to wail, I want to cry and scream. What can I do with this heart?
The source says this was probably his most difficult period, really wrestling with death head on.
You can just feel the desperation in those words. And he didn't just keep it internal, right? He expressed this to the author.
He did. He looked right at the author, apparently with this really sorrowful look, and just said, I don't want to die yet.
Oh, man.
There's something I absolutely have to write. I want to recover one more time. It's just heartbreaking. That need to create was so tied up with his will to live. So that internal battle, that desire to live and write, what about the physical reality? What was happening to his body? We know the cause was intestinal tuberculosis.
Right, and the description is brutal. He was literally skin and bones.
Yeah.
But here's the astonishing part. He kept walking to the toilet by himself almost right up until the very end.
Incredible resilience.
It really is. And his mind stayed sharp. Pitifully clear is the phrase used. Clear right until his last breath.
That clarity almost seems like a double-edged sword, doesn't it? To be so aware of your body failing.
Definitely.
Right.
And things did get harder. The last 3 or 4 days, just moving, turning over in bed, caused him awful pain. He needed help being held up and apparently said, it helps when you do that. Small comforts.
And then there's that incident with the futon. Right. It sounds small, but it seems significant.
Yeah, it really reveals something. His bed was basic, narrow, and the heavy futon would hammer him down, making his back sore because he was so thin. So the author offers to adjust it, make him more comfortable.
And Hojo snaps.
Completely out of character, apparently. He gets sullen and bites back. Leave it alone, you. This is a charity hospital, and I'm a charity patient. I have to endure. And then he adds, besides, hanging the futon makes it look like I'm a seriously ill patient, and I don't like that.
Wow. Even then, that pride. Not wanting to look like the sick man.
Exactly. It shocked the author, revealing this true nature, this fierce dignity, refusing to be seen as just pitiful, even in that state. It tells you so much about holding on to identity.
It really does. And his physical suffering went beyond pain, didn't it? The diet was incredibly restricted.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Tiny amounts of rice, water, milk, that was basically it. And what did he crave? I just want to eat 2 bowls of barley rice. Such a simple, basic thing.
It puts things in perspective, and there's that detail about the gifts.
Ah, yes. Gifts from Mr. Kobayashi of Sogensha. He barely touched them. He told the author to put them away, saying, I'm saving these for my recovery celebration.
Which, of course.
Yeah. They ended up being the lonely refreshments at his wake. It's tragic, but it shows how much he clung to the idea of getting better.
He genuinely seemed to believe it, making plans even.
He did. Really detailed plans, like, when I get better this time, I'll work as an attendant for a bit. Good for the body. Gotta exercise. Health first. Then novels.
Always back to the novels.
Always. That drive was constant. He'd urge the author, you write for me. Or just sigh, I want to write a novel.
And he had specific ideas bubbling up.
Oh, absolutely. He even declared at one point, I just thought of something amazing. A theme for a novel nobody in history has ever thought of or written about.
That's the real tragedy, isn't it? The unwritten masterpiece. What might have been.
It hits hard, especially for a creative person. But alongside that hope, he was also quite practical about certain things. Like remedies.
Right, he wasn't grasping at straws with unproven cures.
No, not really. If someone suggested some weird new treatment, he'd just dismiss it. That's worthless. I've tried everything. He eventually concluded, in the end, a sick person just has to trust their doctor. A kind of clear-eyed realism mixed in with the dreaming.
It's such a paradox. Hope and resignation side by side. So, as the end got closer, did his mental state change again after that period of anguish?
Yes. The account mentions a shift in the last 2 or 3 days. He became much calmer. It says he seemed to be sort of playing in a lofty world that the author couldn't quite reach or understand. A kind of detachment, maybe?
Finding some kind of peace.
It seems like it. He actually said, I'm not afraid of death, I'm ready. His only regret, he said, was leaving behind what I have to write. But maybe that's just a complaint, almost dismissing his own life's work as a minor point.
And he wanted quiet.
Yeah. If asked what he was thinking, he'd say nothing or no, I don't want to hear anything. Like he was protecting that inner calm.
Until that final night, December 5th. The author decides to stay over.
Right. They clear the bed next to Hojo's. When they tell him, he just says very simply, oh, I'm sorry. No big fuss, unlike how the author notes most patients would react. Very stoic.
And then, in the middle of the night,
around 2 a.m., Hojo calls out, startling the author awake. And he's different. He's excited, holding his pillow up high, demanding his body be rubbed harder, harder.
And he looked better.
Bizarrely, yes. His face had good color. His eyes were shining brightly. It was confusing.
This sounds like that phenomenon.
Yeah, no.
The final surge of energy.
That's exactly what the author eventually realized. Hojo declared, on a night like this, a wonderful power wells up. I don't know where it comes from. My limbs are jumping. You write the manuscript for me.
Still wanting to write, even then.
Right to the end. And his very last words reflected this surge. I will recover. I will recover. I will definitely recover.
And the author's reaction.
Sudden panic. Realization hit. This wasn't recovery. This was the last burst of life force burning up. They rushed off in tears to get the doctor, apparently muttering, idiot, idiot, don't die, don't die. Just raw grief and desperation.
But even after that burst, his consciousness remained clear.
Astonishingly, yes. Pitifully clear. Right until he stopped breathing.
And he used that clarity.
He did. He apologized for the trouble he caused people, mentioning Mr. Kawabata by name, and he repeatedly thanked the author, saying, I'm sorry for everything, thank you, over and over. Incredible grace.
And then that last request, kuzu.
Yes, that traditional starchy food. He ate it with relish with the author, their last meal together, as the author calls it.
And right after that,
his consciousness just vanished, like smoke. He died peacefully, no suffering apparent, at 5:35 a.m.
The author described a chilling feeling, but also noted how beautiful his death mask was. That mix of relief and deep sorrow.
It's a powerful image. Peace after such struggle. But the full weight really hit the author later, didn't it?
Yeah, about 2 weeks later, organizing his papers, that's when the regret surfaced.
Deep regret, finding outlines for novels he'd never write. The author writes, I would have given 5 or 6 years of my own life to let him live.
That says everything about the loss, not just of a friend, but of his art. And finally, there was that poem found in his diary.
Right, from December 1937, just before the end. The author felt it captured his desolate loneliness and solitude.
What were the words?
Very stark. Rough wall. White plaster smeared on the wall, midnight. A horsefly is buzzing its wings.
Just an image. Isolation, maybe irritation, even in the face of everything else.
It gives you this tiny final window into his internal world. It's incredibly evocative. So, tying this all together, Hojo Tamio's final days. They really show us so much about the human spirit, don't they? That resilience, but also the vulnerability.
Absolutely.
His fight, the dreaming about recovery, that unwritten novel, that incredible final burst of energy. It's just this powerful testament to the will to live, the creative urge, right up against the very end.
Yeah, what really struck me was that contrast. His body completely breaking down, but his mind staying so sharp, so aware. And that fierce pride, even in a charity hospital, don't make me look like seriously ill patient, holding on to dignity.
It really makes you think about how we carry ourselves, our identity, even when everything else is stripped away.
It does.
And it leaves us with a big question, maybe for you listening. What does it mean to be creative, to have this unique vision, like his novel idea, and then have it silenced?
How do we deal with that idea of unfulfilled potential?
Right. And what does that simple, stark poem about the wall and the horsefly really tell us about being alone at that final frontier?
It's been a really moving deep dive. Powerful personal stuff. Thanks for exploring Hojo Tamio's final journey with us. Hopefully you'll take some of his spirit and maybe that poem away with you. It really makes you ponder, doesn't it? The power and maybe the sadness of the unfinished story.